The game was never meant to be fair. Your trust will be weaponized, and your effort will be overlooked. This is not cynicism. It is clarity. And the few who operate with this clarity don't just survive the game, they quietly redesign it. What you're about to learn isn't about becoming cruel. It's about developing a lens to see the world as it truly operates, not as you wish it would. This is pragmatic wisdom, and it emerges not from endless victory, but from strategic recovery. When others are shattered by betrayal or blinded by ego, you learn, you observe, you plan. While they play loud, you think deep. The most effective moves are often the ones no one sees coming. But let me state this unequivocally. This knowledge is a shield. Its purpose is defense, insight, and preservation of unwarranted aggression. Use it to navigate complexity, not to create it. Your first task is to make a choice in the comments below. Write this: I choose perception over reaction. Today, we unfold 8 principles that forge an unshakable, perceptive mind. The first principle changes how every word you speak lands. 1. Strategic ambiguity. Never be a completely open book. Reveal only what serves the moment and your purpose. When people possess fragments, their minds will construct the restand. You guide that construction. The ancient strategist Sun Tzu wrote, "All warfare is based on deception." This is not about falsehoods. It is about measured disclosure. Consider the people who command a room. They don't explain. They imply. They answer questions with deeper questions. They understand that definitive answers often surrender leverage. Here's the common mistake. Someone and you feel compelled to provide a full dossier, your motives, your doubts, your next steps. You mistake this for authenticity, but it's often just transparency that weakens your position. Perceptive individuals know that influence is born in the space between what is said and what is imagined. Your information is capital. Spend it strategically, not impulsively. Someone asks about your new venture. The typical reply details the whole plan. The strategic reply: I'm testing a few intriguing ideas. Then, pivot. The first makes you predictable. The second makes you a subject of thought. This isn't advocating for isolation. It is mastering the art of selective engagement. Your words gain weight when they are scarce. The goal is to own your narrative, not to give it away. 2. The adaptive self. You contain multitudes. The version of you that speaks to a CEO is not the same as the one that comforts a friend, and it shouldn't be. This isn't being false. It's being fluid. You already do this instinctively. You modulate your tone with a child versus a colleague. The principle here is to make this awareness deliberate. Every person operates on a unique frequency of values, fears, and communication styles. Broadcasting on a single channel means most will never truly hear you. The pragmatically wise individual is a student of their audience. Are they driven by data? Offer logic. By emotion. Speak to feeling. By results. Show the pathway. Think of Mercury. It adapts to the shape of its container without changing its essential nature. Your core remains, but your expression flexes to create connection. The error is believing rigid uniformity equals integrity. True integrity is your foundation. Your communication is the bridge you build from it to others. When you master the adaptive self, you become a person with whom anyone can find common ground. They feel heard because you are speaking in a language they understand. But a warning: never adapt so far that you forget your own shape. You are a diamond with many facets, not a puddle that takes any form. 3. The power of none. Your greatest vulnerability is your desperation to keep what you have, what you are not afraid to walk away from. You ultimately control. The philosopher Emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote of accepting what you cannot change. This is its active counterpart. Not being psychologically shackled to outcomes. Most are governed by their attachments to a job, a person, an opinion. Fear of loss dictates their choices, making them negotiable. Freedom from that fear makes you decisive. This isn't indifference. It is the opposite of neediness. Imagine 2 negotiators. One must have this deal. The other desires it, but has other paths. Who holds power? the one who can walk away. Non-attachment grants you clarity. When you're not emotionally invested in being proven right, you can see what is actually true. When you don't crave universal approval, you can make choices aligned with your purpose. The paradox is profound. Needing something less often draws it closer. Confidence isn't the belief that everything will work out. It's the certainty that you will be okay, even if it doesn't. Start small. Don't cling to winning a trivial argument. Don't be attached to a plan unfolding exactly as scripted. As you practice, you'll notice a shift. People begin to sense your inner resolve. They recognize that you cannot be easily leveraged. Remember, non-attachment is caring deeply, but being defined by nothing outside yourself. 4. Quiet authority. True pressure is not applied with noise, but with presence. It is the influence you exert without uttering a command. While others scramble to be heard, you learn the power of the pause. Most equate force with volume shouting, demanding, dominating. That is a blunt instrument. Refined power is subtle. Quiet authority is the art of positioning. You don't demand respect. You cultivate a reality where it is naturally given. You don't fight for control. You arrange the board so it flows to you. In dialogue, it means being comfortable with silence. Most rush to fill voids with words, often revealing their hand. You hold the pause, let tension build, and then speak. Your words arrive with gravity. In any negotiation, your strongest leverage is the alternative you don't announce. They sense your options. In relationships, it means becoming the source of undeniable value. You don't seek credit. You become indispensable through consistent action. This requires immense patience. You are planting oaks in a world looking for instant sprouts. Your returns compound silently. When you master this, people seek your counsel without prompting. They align with your vision without a decree. You become the quiet architect. The ethical core is vital. This is not manipulation for extraction. It is influence for mutual elevation. You are guiding, not goading. 6. Pragmatic ethics. The world is not a morality play in black and white. It is a spectrum of gray where the most moral outcome sometimes requires an uncomfortable decision. This is the most misunderstood principle. It does not mean abandoning your compass. It means recognizing that simple goodness can sometimes cause greater harm. Pure intentions can enable destructive patterns. Pragmatic ethics is okay. It asks, which action, among all difficult choices, leads to the least harm or the greatest good for the most people? A leader might have to release a well-liked but underperforming team member to protect the mission and the team's future. The kind action hurts the many. The hard action serves the collective. A friend might need to hear a blunt truth about their toxic partner, though it risks temporary conflict. The nice action prolongs pain. The direct action offers a chance for healing. This is the burden of contextual judgment. It moves beyond what makes me look like a good person to what actually does good. It requires the courage to own the consequences of necessary, unpopular choices. Establish your non-negotiables to lines you will never cross. Within that fortress, grant yourself the flexibility to be effective, not just liked. The goal is not sainthood. It is responsible stewardship in an imperfect world. 7. Calculated revelation. In an age of compulsive sharing, your silence becomes your signature. The less others know, the more they speculate, and speculation often works in your favor. We are wired to complete incomplete patterns. When you disclose selectively, you activate this curiosity. The intriguing individual isn't the one who posts every meal. It's the one whose occasional reveal suggests depth unseen. Practically, this means staggering your capabilities. Don't unveil every skill on day one. Let your value unfold over time, creating a narrative of continuous growth. In relationships, share personal history progressively as trust deepens. Information, once released, cannot be recalled. In negotiation, never reveal all your constraints up front. Keep a card in reserve. Timing is everything. The same fact shared too early seems like boasting. Shared when critically needed seems like genius. This also governs your digital shadow. Every public post is a permanent tile in your mosaic. Be the curator of that image. The aim is not to be an enigma, but to be the author of your own story. Share enough to connect, but never so much that you are fully mapped. 8. Resultant focus. You are not here to win debates or appear clever. You are here to produce an outcome. Everything else is a diversion. Most get sidetracked by ego, by the desire to be right, by the theater of effort. The resultant focused individual has a singular filter. Does this action advance me toward my goal? In conflict, ask not how can I prove my point, but what do I truly want from this interaction? Sometimes that means conceding a battle to win the alliance. In business, prioritize impact over activity. The busy fool works hard on the irrelevant. The strategist identifies the one lever that moves everything. This leads to what seems like selective effort. You might do less, but what you do moves mountains. Apply this to learning. Acquire not all knowledge, but the specific knowledge that enables your desired result. This is strategic efficiency. A crucial warning. Let your desired outcomes include ethical and relational integrity. Win the right way. Also, be wedded to the goal, not the plan. If a tactic fails, discard it without ego and try another. Flexibility is strength. Become known as the person who delivers, not the person who talks about delivering. That reputation is the ultimate currency. You now hold 8 principles of pragmatic wisdom. Knowledge alone is inert. Your assignment. For the next 7 days, select one principle, integrate it into your daily interactions. Observe the shift in your dynamics and your own inner stability. Remember, this is about building a resilient mind, not a mercenary heart. Use this understanding to see clearly, to protect your peace, and to create value. The world doesn't need more cynics. It needs more clear-eyed builders. People who can't be manipulated because they understand the mechanics. People who wield insight, not for domination, but for elevation. Which will you be? If this resonated with you, I ask you to support Winds of Thought by hitting the LIKE button. It truly helps. If you want to develop this mindset further, subscribe and turn on notifications. In the comments, tell me, which principle is most visible in the accomplished people you know? And which will you practice first? Until next time, remember, true power isn't about controlling others. It's about mastering your perception, your actions, and your impact. Stay perceptive. Stay grounded.